Hey now, welcome back, Pokemon trainers. This is your friendly neighborhood Bullados, and we are still at the Chicago City Championships at Top Cut Comics in Chicago, Illinois. We're in the top 8 of the City Championships here. On your left, you have Ryan Grant playing Ho-Oh, and on your right, you have Cameron Cole playing Empoleon, Dusknoir, Empoleon, Dusknoir, Leafeon. So, yeah, sorry about that. Little miscommunication between the judges and the players. So, Ryan starts off with his Bouffalont, while Cameron starts off with Duskull. Ryan plays a Hypnotoxic Laser to poison and put into sleep, as well as an Ultra Ball discarding a Mr. Mime and a Colress. Probably going to search out either a Ho-Oh or a Mewtwo. There's the Mewtwo. It's going to play N. Forces both players to shuffle their hands into their decks, draw a number of cards equal to their number of prize cards. Cameron is going. Both players are going to draw 6 cards in this case. Unfortunately for Cameron, he cannot attack. No, this is Ryan. Unfortunately for Ryan, he cannot attack this turn. So, because of the new first turn rules, the player going first cannot attack on their first turn. So he's really just trying to set up. Oh, he played a Verbanks in there also. I did not see the Verbank get played. Got to drop a double on the Mewtwo. And ends his turn. Cameron flips to see if his Duskull is awake. Cameron flips to see if he's awake, and he is. Draws his card to start his turn. Lays down a Plup. And commits a Water Energy, probably to the Plup. He has to commit the Water Energy to the Plup. I don't see how he does anything other than commit a Water Energy to Piplup. He commits it to the Duskull so that he can try and retreat him. He's got a Jirachi in his hand that he's thinking about playing. But he's also got a Juniper that he's thinking about playing as well. I don't know if he's going to play that Jirachi, because once it's in play, it becomes a liability. It's 2 prize cards and a very low HP count in a format that does a lot of damage. He's going to play it down and search his deck for, I believe, any trainer card he wants. Probably a Level Ball, so that he can get more Pokemon onto his bench. It's either, I can't remember if it's a trainer or a supporter. Going to search for N. He's getting an N off of Jirachi. Shuffles his deck around. Jirachi can only search for a supporter card. I apologize for that. It's a card that I haven't seen played very often, so I'm not all that familiar with it. He's debating about the N, whether he wants to play it. There goes the N. My guess is that he had something in his hand that he really did not want to use. So he's going to play the end, shuffle, force both players to shuffle their hands into their decks and draw 6 cards again. Um, I really doubt Cameron is going to want to let that Duskull get knocked out. He's probably going to want to make Cole, not, probably going to want to make Ryan uh, retreat in order to and force that Mewtwo active. Especially now that Cameron has that second Piplup, he doesn't. If it were me, I wouldn't care too much about the first Piplup. Going to take a look at Ryan's discard pile to see what's in there, and discards a Water Energy to retreat probably into one of the Piplups. He retreats into a Jirachi. It's not a bad play. I mean, at this point in the game, it probably has enough HP to survive a little bit, but that's really not a lot of HP there. And, especially with that Bouffalante, and now a second Bouffalante, you know, Cameron's deck really relies upon knocking out Pokemon EX in order to get its prize cards, and hope that the prize exchange turns out in his favor. Ryan's going to attach a double colorless to his active Bouffalante and play an N. My guess is that he's going to end up retreating that Bouffalante using the double colorless, sending up the Mewtwo on the bench and hitting the Jirachi for 40 damage, or at least I think it should be 40. No, it would be 20 damage because of Jirachi's resistance. Plays down a Kecleon. Unfortunately, I don't really remember what Kecleon does, but I think it has color change ability, and his attack will let him copy either the opponent's active or any Pokemon's attack if it has the correct energy attached in order to do those attacks. I'm going to play a Scramble Switch into the Mewtwo. Ooh. Ooh, what a card. What a card. Mewtwo with 4 energies attached. That's going to deal a lot of damage. Cameron's turn, he starts by playing a town map to flip over his prize cards. That just gives him a little extra information about what's going on in his deck. Benches an Eevee so that his attack command can do more damage, and so that he can potentially draw more cards off of the Colress that I know he plays. Seems like there's another basic Pokemon in his hand that he's thinking about playing. Either that or that was a dowsing machine. An Ultra Ball, discarding an N. And he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about either the Empoleon or the Piplup. He's not sure which one of the two he wants to get rid of. For me, I'd probably get rid of the Empoleon because you're going to get rid of it anyway, and the Piplup you probably want to have on your bench. After this, he's going to have to play the Juniper in his hand to dump it out. And, yep, there's the Prinplup. Dump it out, draw new cards. Because that's what Juniper does, and it's the reason that Juniper is one of the strongest trainer cards in the game. It's also the reason why the new card Professor Sycamore uh, can't can't be played with Juniper. If you could have 8 Junipers that you could play during the turn, or during the game, or at least 8 cards with the same effect as Juniper, ooh, that would turn the game upside down. Benches the Piplup, plays an N. Okay, that was an N. I thought it was a Juniper, but it turns out that it's an N. My mistake. So both players are going to shuffle in, draw 6 cards. And Cameron is still looking for a rare candy and an Empoleon so that he can really start getting himself set up and start cycling through his deck and making sure that he has what he needs in order to win this game. Cameron's debating what he wants to do. He's going to attach water energy to his active Jirachi. I think he's going to try and prevent Cole from taking 2 prize cards this turn. He's going to retreat into a Piplup that he's using as a sacrificial lamb. Ends his turn, and that Mewtwo is going to knock out the Piplup soon. But first, Ryan's going to play out his turn so that he makes use of all the resources available to him. I see a Skyla in his hand, and I think I see a Ho-Oh. So he's probably going to Skyla for an energy search, so that he can get an energy card into his discard pile, along with that Ho-Oh that's in his hand off of the Ultra Ball that I know he has. Play Ultra Ball, discarding a Ho-Oh and a Fighting Energy. That'll search his deck maybe for a Mewtwo. Or maybe the, Yep, there's a Mewtwo. And he's debating whether he wants to bench that Mewtwo. I probably would. He's got another double in his hand that he can use easily. He's debating between benching the Mewtwo and attaching a double to it. He's not even going to attach an energy. That's odd. Has to send up one of his penguins, and he chooses the unevolved one. I'm not sure why he would choose the unevolved one. I would have chosen the one on the top because that one's easier to get the Empoleon out for. But apparently Cameron has a plan. He's going to play a Skyla, probably for either a rare candy or an Ultra Ball. There's his Ultra Ball. And he's going to discard a Tool Scrapper and the Mr. Mime to search his deck for the Empoleon. Then he's going to rare candy it out of his hand, attach the energy, and he might Supreme Command. I'm not sure if he will, but he might. Rare Candy, Empoleon, Energy, and he's not going to Supreme Command that card. That looks like a Juniper that's left in his hand. So he's going to attack for 90 damage. And now it's Ryan's turn, who draws a card, and I see a Water Energy come up. Got a Mewtwo in his hand that he really wants to get out. I still don't know why he didn't drop the Mewtwo last turn with a double colorless, but I don't know. He might have been thinking something weird was going on. He wants to attach that energy. He wants to attach it badly. Because right now he's dealing 2, 4, 5. He's dealing 100 damage to that Empoleon, and he needs more than that. Drop a silver bangle onto the benched Kecleon. He's still trying to figure out where to place his energies. It's a lot harder choice than he's making it out to be. Drop a double onto the benched Mewtwo. Play a Juniper to get rid of that water energy that was in his hand, as well as a Verbank, because there's already a Verbank in play. I see a lightning energy came up in that hand, which is a good thing for Ryan to see. The Ho isn't going to come out quite yet, because what Ho needs in order to come out correctly, Ho will need 3 energies in the discard pile, and it'll also need some energy switches and stuff like that. Floatstone to the active Mewtwo. Although I'm not sure how much of a difference that's going to make. Free retreat into the benched Mewtwo. And hit for 60 damage. Cameron draws his card. I don't know what that other card was, but I know that the first card was a Juniper. Benches a Duskull and plays Juniper to draw 7 new cards. There's the second Empoleon, there's the Leafeon. He was hoping to see a Candy and a Dusknoir at some point, but that wasn't going to happen. He could use a couple of Supreme Commands here. One to discard that water energy, and then... okay. Oh, it looks... seems like there was more in his discard pile than I thought. There's an Empoleon, a Piplup, and a water energy that he's getting back with the Super Rod. And he might or might not Supreme Command at this point. He would still probably debate about that Supreme Command, because I don't know if there's anything in his hand that he can really afford to get rid of. What he's now going to start looking for is the Execute, so that he can start discarding correctly rather than losing good cards from his hand. He's going to Supreme Command away the Skyla to draw 2 cards, play a level ball to find the Execute. Now he's got the setup that he wants. Now he can start using that Supreme Command twice every single turn and not really have to discard anything for it, because that Execute is so good when you have to deal with discards. So he Supreme Commands away the Execute, draws his 2 cards, finds that there's nothing really that he wants to use at this point. He's going to attack for 6, and 5 is 110. He's going to try and Ho-Oh. Ryan's trying a Ho-Oh here. He knows that he has 1 Ho-Oh and at least 2 energies in the discard pile. Fails with the Ho-Oh. So Ryan has to think of a different plan other than using that Ho-Oh. And I see a switch that's in his hand. I also see a lightning energy. And I think that he can get a knockout on that Empoleon right now, but I'm not sure if he really wants to do that. Because if he does, it'll mean sacrificing 3 double colorless energies. So instead he's just going to play an N and hope that he gets lucky off of what he pulls for this. If Cameron can pull a Dusknoir off of this set of draws, then Cameron's going to knock out 2 Pokemon during his next turn, probably both Mewtwo's. Oh yeah, just so that everyone knows, this is the top cut between Ryan Grant on your left and Cameron Cole on your right. Top cut is being played under 60 minutes, 2 out of 3 rules. Basically using the same rules that we used all of last season. And Ryan plays his laser, which will put 3 more damage counters onto the Empoleon and knock it out after Mewtwo's X-Ball. Cameron plays down a Piplup and a Tropical Beach to get rid of the Burbank City Gym. And that will give him more options that he can do during his turn. He's still propagate the execute, and he's got some problems on his hands because he desperately needs to get that Dusknoir into play. If he gets Dusknoir into play, then he will take 2 prize cards, I believe. 12, 18, 20. 20 plus 11 is 310. He won't take 2 prize cards. He won't knock out 2 Pokemon, but he'll get pretty darn close. I just saw Skyla come down, which probably means that he has one of the 2 cards that he needs to get the Dusknoir into play this turn. He just needs to get the other one. He needs either rare. He will probably Skyla for either a rare candy or an Ultra Ball, because he either has the Dusknoir or he has the rare candy, and he's Skyla for Dowsing Machine. So there's still something in his discard. There's still something that he needs in order to get that Dusknoir out. That's a gigantic hand he's got there. He wants to see if there's something in his discard pile that he needs. When he plays that Dowsing, he'll need to propagate in order to do it. I don't think there's any way he doesn't propagate. So he's just going to attack command for the knockout. He saw that I think that's his only Dusknoir. Yeah, that's right. His only Dusknoir was in the prizes. So he's just going to take the Dusknoir and what looked like an escape rope, which will probably give him all of the attack power that he needs. Ryan tried to Ho-Oh again and failed at the Ho-Oh. Laser comes into play, which fails at putting him to sleep, but it still poisons them. And Ryan plays down a Floatstone onto his benched Bouffalant, and then a Juniper to get more cards out of his deck. Couldn't see all of what he discarded. I saw an energy that was in there, so it's good for him to get that energy into the discard pile. He's also trying to get that other Ho-Oh into the discard pile and get a Burbank City Gym into play so that he could knock out that Empoleon this turn. If he has a Burbank City Gym in play, he does knock out that Empoleon, because right now he's doing 100 damage and he has an energy in hand. He has not yet attached an energy. So if he does have the bank, and he plays the energy on the Mewtwo, that Empoleon is knocked out. Unfortunately, Mewtwo would probably get Revenge knocked out, and then I don't know where Ryan would be. He's still thinking hard about what he needs to do for this turn. For Cameron, the choice is very easy. He's going to get a rare candy this turn. He's going to get that Dusknoir into play. There's the third double colorless, which gives us 2, 4, 6, 7, 140 damage. Rare candy into Empoleon. Whoop. There goes half his discard pile. Don't want to lose that. I know that there's a Dusknoir still in his hand, and I also know that there was that Dowsing Machine that he played earlier. He could Dowsing Machine for a rare candy, move some of the damage from the active to a benched Pokemon, probably knock out the Kecleon while he's at it. I think that Kecleon only has 70 or 80 HP. So, I mean, we know that he's about to Dowsing Machine for the rare candy. We know that it's coming. We know that it's coming. Because he did just play that. Oh, or he could just draw it. And now he has complete control over his opponent's damage counters. He's going to play a level ball to get a Prinplup out of his deck and evolve his Piplup, which I believe was played last turn. And then he's going to Super Rod to get back probably some energies and some Empoleon line. 2 energies, and going to check to see how much Empoleon material he's got. Because he's going to get rid of a Leafeon that's in his hand, so he does need to get back Empoleon material. I just don't know how much Empoleon material he has left. He's getting back 3 water energies to maximize his chances of getting a water energy off of the Juniper that he's going to play. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's got 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is going to be a very strange set of circumstances he's about to do. Going to Dowsing Machine, discard the Eevee and the Leafeon. I would probably find the Super Rod, but I don't know what he's trying for. Super Rod to get back probably Empoleon material. A full Empoleon line is going back into the deck. And again, that's probably going to Colress, shuffle his hand into his deck, and draw 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And he's hoping that he gets a he's hoping that he gets an energy off of this, because if he does, then that Mewtwo's knocked out, and he might be able to get the Kecleon as well, though I can't tell. Oh, there's the energy that he needed. And I think he also has an Empoleon in his hand. So he's going to have to move some of that damage around. He wants to have exactly 70 damage on the active Mewtwo. So he's at 90 right now. He'll do 100 damage. He's going to move 2 damage from the Mewtwo. 3 damage from the Mewtwo. Really? 2 damage from the Mewtwo to the benched Bouffalant with a Float Stone. And then he's going to attack and knock out the Mewtwo for 100 damage. Getting rid of 3 double colorless and the only energies that Ryan had in play. Ryan draws his card and now realizes he's in a really tight position. A Buffalo he's going to try and see if he can play the Buffalo, but I don't think it's a good idea for him to do so. He's going to rebirth 1 Ho-Oh. Fails. He's going to have to find a way to get the second Ho-Oh into his discard pile in order to try it out. I think he has something in his hand that can discard cards from his hand. I can't really see that well. He's got a Lightning Energy that he's going to attach Well, thinking about attaching. Don't know if he wants to do it or not, but he can't use that Juniper that's in his hand because of the two um, energy switches that he has. Uh, Looks like Ryan ended his turn without attacking, so Cameron basically gets a free shot. He's going to attach an energy to his benched Empoleon that he just evolved, and he's probably not going to draw anymore. He's just going to move damage around a bit, play with his opponent's damage. Although I don't think I would rather just knock out the active Bouffalont because that's the one that's dangerous to him. But I don't think he could. He had 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he didn't have what was necessary to knock it out. He's going to rebirth and fail it. And at this point, he probably wants to get that active Bouffalont back to the bench because if he leaves that one up there, it's going to get knocked out, and he can't afford to lose. Probably should have retreated that. I would have, at least. If he retreats it and sends up the benched Bouffalont, uh, well, he would probably get 2 knockouts anyway, but I think he does have 2 knockouts. I think he does because he moves that. No, he doesn't have 2 knockouts. Leaves 30 on the active, 60 on the benched Bouffalont. We're going to attack for 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, knocking out the active Bouffalont and taking a prize card. Kecleon comes active. He's going to try it again. Fails the rebirth. And there was really nothing that he could have done about that. So, game 1 goes to Cameron. And now they will shuffle and reset for game 2. Ryan will get the choice of who goes first at the time that they would flip a coin. So basically, right now he has to choose who goes first and who goes second before he sees his hand. Also, during game 2, actually, I'm not exactly sure how the tiebreaker. I can't remember exactly how the tiebreaker works during Game 2 of the Top Cut. I think it's the same as how it was for Best of 3 last year, where you need to have taken where one player needs to have taken 4 prizes in order for the game in order for the game to count during Game 2. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. That first game took, it seems, about half an hour to finish. I think the second game will finish pretty easily within time. So it could come down to a third game. It could come down to a sudden death game. We'll see how this works. But for now, we're just going to, shuffle it up, offer to your opponents to cut, make sure they set out 6 prize cards, and get the party started. Spending a lot of time shuffling. And now we start game 2. Cameron goes first, attaches a fighting energy to his active Mewtwo, benches a Terrakion, and ends his turn. Over to Cameron. Cameron starts Lone Duskull, just like he did in the last game, plays an Ultra Ball so that he can search for any Pokemon that he wants, which will probably end up being a Piplup. Ultra Ball discarding a Water Energy and a Colress. Well, Colress wouldn't get him very much at this point in the game. To find his Piplup. Oh, he's still trying to resolve that. I thought he'd already searched it out, but whatever. What's he gonna grab instead of the Piplup? I don't think there's anything he would want to grab other. He's gonna search for Jirachi to search for a supporter, which will probably be an N. Skyla for a level ball, for a Piplup. I don't know why he just did all those gymnastics. That was a weird set of gymnastics he did just to play one card. Gonna play a beach. I think he did it to get a card out of his hand. He's going to beach for 4. He could have played the escape rope that was in his hand, but he figured that letting his opponent set up behind that that Terrakion was probably not a good idea. Okay, now we have problems. Yeah, probably. Okay, it looks like Ryan miscalculated the damage that he was going to do to the Duskull. He took his prize and then he shuffled his hand around a little bit. So right now, we're going to have to call over the head judge to try and work through all the things that we need. Give us just a second. So after that little snafu, we've replaced one of the prize cards, and now it's Cameron's turn. His Duskull has 2 damage on it, 20 damage on it, and looks like he's about to play an escape rope to get his, wow, now rare candied Empoleon up. And it looks like there's going to be a fun set of plays that Cameron's about to make. It's got an N. Both players shuffle their hand into their deck and draw their prize cards. He's just looking for a water energy in any Pokemon that he can find. Even the Execute Especially the execute. You definitely want to get that execute out when you have an Empoleon in play. That execute means that you draw 2 cards for free. It's not 20 damage. It is 40 damage on there. It's just this particular stream is not the greatest quality in the world. The dice isn't very clear. There's the energy, there's the execute, drawing 2 cards. There's got to be a basic in there somewhere. No more basics. He's going to use attack command for what looks like 50 damage, 60 damage, 4, 5, 6, 60 damage. Floatstone to Terrakion. That'll allow Ryan to retreat that Terrakion for free, even with that gigantic 4 retreat cost, which nobody in their right mind would ever pay. Got an energy search. He's going to search for any kind of basic energy. Oh, he's just gonna fail that? Really? What is he doing there? Is he just trying to thin out his hand or something? He's got something in his hand that he wants to play. I see a double that he wants to get down. Well, there's a bangle. Gonna beach for 3 without attaching an energy. Not sure how wise that is. And Cameron is looking for the next set of... I don't know why he didn't attach. I would have attached the double colorless to the benched Mewtwo. You know, I don't think Cameron, I don't think, could have knocked out the Mewtwo this turn. 6, 7, 8. He could not have knocked out the Mewtwo this turn. That was... I don't think the escape rope could have killed him. There's only 60 damage in play, and he could get at most 80 or 110. He would need 2 cards in order to knock it out. He would need an escape rope and a bangle to knock it out. But he's been seeing bangles all game long. He just hasn't attached any of them. He'd need a lot of things in order to knock out that Mewtwo. This is a very strange game. He can now only do 80 damage. I see a bangle in his hand. I see an Ultra Ball in his hand. I know that he's probably gonna attack. He's probably going to Supreme Command at some point. But first he's going to search the eggs. There's his Supreme Command. I wouldn't have done that there. Rare Candy into Dusknoir, which is always useful to have in play. He has to use the Ultra Ball. He has to get Pokemon into play. He's also got a Tool Scrapper in his hand, which he probably should. Diving Draw. I'm an idiot. Why is he discarding the Tool Scrapper? Get rid of the Floatstone that's there.
How was that? Me too, but I got
Hey, Supreme Command was actually something that was once printed on an Empoleon. So, I'm not that far off.
Look at Vince's iPad and where's the calculator? It's gotta be on here. There's no calculator on here.
There's an energy to a benched Piplup. He just moves 60 damage back to the bench and hit the active Terrakion for 70, it looks like. Still, why he would... Strange series of plays from both players here. I don't understand why he would discard the Tool Scrapper. Force that Terrakion to stay active and just keep damaging Mewtwo. This is a really goofy game. I'm not sure he even wanted the KO there. Well, there's a bank, but I still don't know what he's doing. Oh, Ryan just had a perfect set of plays. He's got 2 Hoes in the discard pile, a bunch of energies to play with. Rebirth is gonna have a lot of fun right now. You got both players misplayed, but I think that Cameron's misplay was much, much worse. 4, 5 to the 100 damage. This is so... There's an N. Makes both players shuffle their hands into their decks, and nobody's taken a prize this game thus far. This is so goofy. He didn't need to take the 100 damage. He didn't need to take the 100 damage. There's an eggs, which he's using to discard to draw 2. I mean, he's gonna knock out the Mewtwo this turn, or at least he should. Let's get 2 prizes out of the way. I see a Prinplup in the hand. Unless you have a rare candy, unless you have a rare candy or something, let's get that thing into play. I want to be able to evolve that to that Empoleon quickly, don't you? Oh, there's Prinplup. It's gonna have to, if I remember, I would also probably commit an energy to that Eevee. Just so that it distracts, even if it just distracts Ryan, and forces him to knock it. So he's just moving just enough energy, just enough damage to the active. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 100. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. That's what I was thinking about. Okay, yeah, that Mewtwo's gonna get knocked out. There goes Mewtwo. Here comes Terrakion, and Terrakion is nothing to attack with. This is top 8. Don't play that Mr. Mime. Please don't play the Mr. Mime. There's a laser, which fails. That Terrakion is going to be the bane of his existence, and why he didn't play down a Mewtwo right there is so beyond me. I'm sorry, I'm criticizing these guys. I wouldn't even be in this position if I was playing. But this is... Oh, yeah. Ryan's flips have been terrible. But, you know, this is so strange. Well, Rebirth 1 works. He's probably gonna... He needs that fighting energy from the Ho-Oh to attach to the Terrakion. Drops a double onto Terrakion. Energy switch the fighting up to Terrakion, and Revenge for 90. Knocks out Empoleon, takes his first prize. But here comes another Empoleon. Or at least it's gonna be another Empoleon. There's town map. There is nothing in those prizes that Cameron actually needs. But there's the big Emperor Penguin pulling out an eggs, using diving draw. Draw 2. And Bangle, because why not? Now that you don't need it, let's put it down. Still only doing, what, 4, 5, 60 damage? 70 damage? Escape rope. Into the Ho-Oh. And he's going to have to find an energy card in order to do that. Okay, does that into the Mr. Mime instead. I'm guessing he figures that if anything's going to get knocked out, it's going to be that Mime. Level Ball for another Pokemon. Probably the Piplup. For me, it would be the Piplup. There's our Piplup. Energy to Mr. Mime to retreat it back for Empoleon. That Empoleon is just going to beast that Ho-Oh. Takes his 2 prize cards. It looks like he's taking a Skyla and a Beach, so that he can get rid of the Verbank that's in the. Right now it's Ryan Grant on the left and Cameron Cole on the right. This is game 2. Cameron won game 1. And Ryan just played a Colress, and he's going to shuffle in and draw 5. Because he doesn't have a bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a Kecleon. You might be able to do something with that, but I don't know what. With a Fire Energy. He needs a Water Energy attached to that. There's one. Ho-Oh 1 fails. Ho-Oh 2. I can't see. Looks like it failed. So he's just gonna hit for. What's that? 90, 120. There are no pictures of the standings anywhere. I wish there were, but there aren't. Say goodbye to your Verbank City gym, because a tropical beach just came into play. And we're going to play Skyla. Search his deck for a trainer card, though I'm not exactly sure what trainer card he's looking for. Might be searching for an Ultra Ball so that he can get another Empoleon into play. Might be searching for an energy search to get an energy onto his bench to Prinplup. He might just be, excuse me, searching for a Super Rod because there's Empoleon. Because there's Empoleon material in his discard pile, and I'm certain a fair amount of energy in there as well. He figures that he's just gonna get back the Pokemon that he needs. So get back, what, an Empoleon and some energy. Empoleon line and an energy. That works. Then he's going to Ultra Ball the other Empoleon. Diving draw twice. And Where's the Ultra Ball? I saw that there was an Ultra Ball in his hand. Play the Ultra Ball. Play the Ultra Ball. Play the Ultra Ball. Play the Ultra Ball. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Really? That's it? 6, 12, 13. It's going to get knocked out between turns, so we'll probably retreat for the Kecleon, though that's not going to matter at all. Or at least it shouldn't. Because there's another Empoleon on the bench. Or there will be another Empoleon on the bench. Although that shuffle into draw 2 is... Whew, that's a problem. I think that what Cameron's going to do is he's going to knock out the Kecleon that's on the bench, and then take that Juniper, play it, so that he can get enough in play to send up. He's going to send up the Prinplup, or at least what I would do is send up the Prinplup, move the damage around to take a knockout. Gotta send the Prinplup. Almost have to send the Prinplup. I don't see how you don't send Prinplup. Because you know you have 7 cards coming your way. He sends up Mr. Mime. There's your energy. Take your prize card. You're going to Dusknoir damage around so that you can take the prize card that's... Okay. Play an end to get yourself 2 cards, instead of playing the Juniper to get yourself 7. Makes sense. There's looks like a Super Rod in his hand. Probably something else. I would probably play the Super Rod just to try and get stuff out of my deck, and get the Empoleon line that I desperately need back into the deck. Get back your Empoleon. What's he gonna take back? Empoleon, Piplup, and an energy. Pretty much what I expected. And then Cameron just ends his turn. Realizes that this Racken can really only do 30 damage at this point because he hasn't knocked anything out. Can't quite see what that last card is in his hand. The final card in his hand is a Duskull that he's probably not going to bench yet. Although I think he might want to bench it next turn. I don't know why he didn't knock out that Kecleon earlier. Now he can't play that. So he just ends his turn on a beach. Ultra Ball discarding, is that 2 Is that two switches? Looking for a Mewtwo. And he's looking and he probably has a scramble switch in his hand. Bicycle. Burbank to get rid of that and plays an N. Yeah. Cameron. There's the N to drop Cameron down to one card. And uh, Ryan gets 4, attaches an energy to his bench, plays a laser, which is heads, it's poisoned and asleep. Attacks for 30, takes another 30 from the poison. So he draws his card and top decks a Juniper and a Piplup. What kind of crazy top deck is that? What what was that? That's wrong. If he has, I think he has the energy. He has what, 40 damage on the active. Needs to hit for 110. But I don't think he can hit for no 110. Plays an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dusknoir and a Water Energy to find his Empoleon. And then he's going to, if it were me, egg propagate diving draw.
Following in Chan's footsteps. Man, that game could have gone anywhere. Chan, I'm following in your footsteps. This is so good.
Propagate, diving draw. Water Energy to the active to retreat it. Send up Empoleon. And he's going to attack for 10 damage less than what is necessary to knock out Terrakion. Terrakion is at 120 and it has 130 HP. And this is really Ryan's last chance. Gets a heads on Ho-Oh. Find 3 energies. He didn't have a Leafeon to attack with. Okay. So he's going to aggro the Ho-Oh. Yeah, he used Ultra Ball for Leafeon. There have been just a comedy of errors throughout this entire game. Both players could have won several times. Especially Cameron. I see a scramble switch. I'm sorry, you guys can't hear what's going on behind me. scramble switch into a ho-oh. Well, that's
No, what I mean is you get one power.
it. There was nothing he could have done in that game. He had there was really nothing going on for him at the end there. Even if he scramble switched into the Mewtwo, it still would have had only 4 or 5. It still would have had 5 energy attached to it. Would have been dealing 120 damage, and that probably would not have been and that would not have been enough to knock it out. So, there's nothing he could have done with that. But both players could have done a lot better than the way that they played in that game. And I am rather I'm rather surprised that it took that long. So Cameron takes this game, moves on to top four. I'll be shutting down the stream for just a couple of seconds so that XSplit can save what it's doing, and I'll be back in just a couple of seconds.